Our session number 3rd, again a panel discussion. The topic is technology, metallurgical coke making plants in India, current status of merchant plants and ISP. I would invite our panelists on the dais. The session chair once again will be Dr. Mukesh Kumar, Director SRTMI. I would request you to kindly grace the dais. Ladies and gentlemen, to give you a small brief, Mr. Ajit K. Saxena is Director of Operations at Rashtriya Ispat Nigam Limited. He is a key force behind RINL's key technologies endeavors. He has successfully mentored many quality and cost improvement initiatives in his short span at RINL. Mr. Arijit Goswami, I beg your pardon. He's completed his Masters in Chemistry in the year 2009 from Presidency College, Kolkata, and joined Indian Association for the Cultivation of Science, Kolkata, to pursue his doctorate research with a CSIR NET Research Fellowship in the field of metal organic frameworks, their potential applications, and supermolecular chemistry with a focus on anion-assisted networks. And Mr. Sujit Kumar Haldar, Consultant, Raw Met Resources Private Limited. Post-retirement, he provided support to Port Talbot Plant UK and in Netherlands in improving their operating and safety performances as consultant of Tata Consulting Engineers. As a freelancer, he provided consultancy support to BCC, JSW. Well, these are our eminent personalities and panelists on the, for this session. For the proceedings of this session, I hand it over to our session chair, Dr. Mukesh Kumar, with his opening remarks, please.
Thank you very much. And this session, we have experts from operations, we have experts from design, we have experts from maintenance, and all these people are having a large experience in Coke Oven design or Coke Oven maintenance or Coke Oven operations. And we would like to cover in this session all the issues what have been talked in the morning sessions also regarding technologies and regarding maintenance issues, regarding environmental issues, safety issues, and other things. So whatever any question is there, we will take at the end, whether it is related with technology or operational angle or cost angle, any other things. And so first I will start my question with Mr. A.K. Saxena, who is Director in Rashtriya Ispat Nigam Limited, and he is having large experience in this thing. Mr. Saxena, one thing which you might have seen in the since morning, people are talking about the technology, whether top charge or the this thing is temp charge. And I think only the two companies are there, RINL and SAIL, who have not adopted temp charge batteries till date. Although other companies have already gone ahead. So how do you feel? What are the main differences between the top charge, because you are operating? Are you facing any issues regarding the quality issues or any issues with mixing, blending with your soft coking coal or indigenous coals? What is your experience on the top charge?
Good evening, everyone. And the way we have been introduced, it is not only that Coke Oven experts are sitting only on dais. I think more experts are sitting on the off the dais. So I think it is going to be a very good interactive session. That is why we requested no presentation, only questions and answers. So please interact freely. And to the question of Dr. Mukesh Kumar, I don't think that when RINL adopted top charge batteries way back in 90s, perhaps that was the latest technology of those times. Maybe decided sometime in mid-80s that top charge batteries, 7-meter tall top charge batteries, RINL was the first in the country, and with 100% dry quenching. No option for wet quenching. So that way RINL was pioneer in that technology of those times. SAIL also adopted the 7-meter tall batteries, and as far as issue of coke coming out of these top charge batteries for larger blast furnaces, I don't consider there is an issue. It is, I mean, fully satisfying the requirement of blast furnaces. But of course, if you compare it with stamp charging, yes, stamp charging gives us, I mean, more freedom and flexibility in selection of coal for coal blend. So there we can use inferior type of coal, even indigenous coal to greater extent, and definitely you can say the cost of blend will go down. But as far as uh, selection of top charging batteries is concerned, I think it was the best technology available in those times. So that is why it was there. And now so there's the element of sunk cost. Since we have top charge batteries with us, we are using it. SAIL is, as has been told in the morning session, and as much as I know, SAIL is planning to have stamp charge batteries in their next expansion plan. Thank you. I think I've answered it.
One more question just I want to ask, because people says that environmental impact in top charge batteries is causing a concern. So how you are addressing those things in comparison to the stamp charge batteries? Or you are having any other issues, this thing is environmental issues?
Environmentally, I can say that most of the part is being covered by this dry quenching, and I must say that I think almost everyone is shifting from wet quenching to dry quenching. And most of the pollution control boards these days are not permitting uh, wet quenching unless you have a strong backup of dry quenching. And dry quenching itself is, I mean, effectively reduce your CO2 exposure, because almost 1 ton of coke dry quenched gives us 0.6 tons of steam. So you can convert around 7 to 7.5 megawatt power through that. And that is, I mean, whatever power you use, whether imported power or generated indigenously within the plant, you are using fossil fuel. So that way, if you can convert some of the energy through dry quenching, it will have a great impact on reducing the CO2 emission and total steam making process. So that way, I think dry quenching is addressing this issue.
Thank you, Saxena ji. Because the similar question I would like to take from Mr. Sushant Haldar, because he's a consultant. The one of the issue is because you know that today's the major emphasis is coming on reducing CO2 emission from scope 1, scope 2 and scope 3. And when we are, what Mr. Saxena has told, he can generate a lot of power out of it, so it can reduce my scope 2 emissions. So how you feel that in future, because we have to increase steel making capacity by 150 million ton, so what you feel, what should be the roadmap for this type of thing, mainly from environmental angle and from the looking into the coal availability of our indigenous coals?
Thank you for your question. Is it on? You'll have to give me at least 4 or 5 minutes time. Little bit on myself. I am S.K. Haldar. I joined Vizag Steel Plant in the 1980 after graduation from IIT Kanpur. Straight to coke oven, very shocking entry, you know, all sides gas from the door, from the oven top, fire, what not, you know. But that shocking entry, and after that a 40 years of journey through the coke making industry. Now I am retired giving consultancy. I have worked in SAIL in 4.3 meter height top charge batteries with lot of pollutions, no regard to coke quality. Coal was mashallah. These are all practical things I am telling you. Then I mean 10 years in Vilai and 16 years in Dugapur. Then I switched over to non-recovery type coke oven, retrofitting stamp charging in the Vizag type coke oven. And later on for electro steel, the first time in India, the vertical non-recovery coke oven, I brought it. And from there I migrated to Bhushan Steel, you know, in the year 2010. Starting with the stamp charge batteries of 4.5 meter height of 0.85 million ton capacity from China, and there to the 7.6 meter tall, 20.2 meter long. This is the world's second largest coke oven battery, top charge battery. Project engineering to commissioning to operation maintenance, and finished my career with 180 ton per hour single chamber CDQ. Now, operating this stamp charge battery and top charge battery with CDQ in the same complex, let me share my experience 2 minutes. today the situation has put the coke oven people on the front bench who used to be the backbenchers in all such forum related to iron making and steel making. So the onus is on now to drive. Everybody is asking for cost. Now there are ways and means to reduce the cost with your available technology and available resources. Technology cannot be transformed overnight. People have talked about washeries and all this, that I am not going to that. That will take 15-20 years time, including the technology plus logistic, everything. And you will have to make it available to do merchant cokeries also to get the benefit. Now here I would like to share my experience that today stamp charging is only the technology which can replace top charge battery. We used to have 6 to 7% weak coking coal in the blend. But as you know, the top charge batteries and the chemical plant associated with it is horrible. Lot of government restrictions is there. You will have to spend a lot of money. If you visit Bhushan Steel, the 7.6 meter tall battery, it is retrofitted with the state of the art BOD plant and other pollution control system. And our charging emissions, which is the most difficult to achieve, it was below 16 seconds, all because of the automatic machines from Salke, Germany. It is too costly. But stamp charge can replace additional 18% to 20% of the weak coking coal, and it can replace the prime coking coal. That is a huge cost benefit, and stamp charging is the only way to do it. I have used in Bhushan Steel about 25% of the weak coking coal, that is the PCI or other type of weak coking coal, is a straight away benefit of 18 to 20%. I have used also the low ash New Zealand coal, 4% ash. Their sulfur is high, but you get the real benefit of the low ash, provided you have a desulfurization unit between your hot metal to SMS. That gives you straight away terrible benefit. And on my advice, Uttam Galva has already started the New Zealand coal using in their blend to the tune of 15%, reducing their ash by 1%. 1% reduction means 2.5% increase in the productivity of blast furnace. Now with stamp charging, the real benefit, again the additional benefit comes to the coke dry quenching. Coke dry quenching, with the same blend, there is an improvement in the CSR value with 2 to 2.5%, M40 value by another 3%, and corresponding all values, and less generation of underside because there is no shock quenching, water quenching and wet quenching. Your size distribution, your MPS are very good. Biggest benefit is the moisture below less 1%. It is 0.5 to 0.6, which gives tremendous benefit to the blast furnace, and their cost reduction in the blast furnace end is very high. At the coke oven end, I don't know why Shell is shying away till now in retrofitting of their plants with the stamp charging. That is the only way out, because another 30, 45, 40 years going to be the route of making hot metal through blast furnace route only. So you'll have to retrofit the existing battery wherever possible with the stamp charging. And greenfield battery, nothing, no top charging. It has to be a stamp charge battery with the coke dry quenching if you want to have better benefit in the productivity of blast furnace, in the cost control, and at the same time usage of this 4% ash coal, though it has got higher sulfur, like pet coke also you can use low ash, high sulfur. But for that you need to have a desulfurization unit in between. So these are, how in the short term what you can do, and in the long time I request all the existing planners and government also, please discard these top charge batteries. I have operated 7.6 meter tall battery. I know its problem and other thing. Though it gives good coke, some sort of bulk density improvement is there because of the height of fall is too high. But it is not like this stamp charge battery. There also the usage of non-coking coal is to the tune of 7%, 8%, 10% maximum. But a stamp charge can go up to 30% if your base coal, which forms the matrix in the coke, is good. So all coals which are black is not good coal. And in the time to come with the bigger blast furnaces, nobody will accept coke of 14% ash. You be rest assured, anything below 12% ash, they are not going to accept. So getting into the arena of 14-15% ash coke some administrative decision has to be there and force people to use it. Nobody will like to use it. This is my forecast. So this is the planning, and wherever you require, you retrofit your batteries with the stamp charge batteries and probably with the CDQ. That will give you the real benefit and cost reduction. Rest reduction has to come in the hot metal by way of bigger dosage of pulverized coal injection. But as you increase the pulverized coal injection, your coke rate will come down. You need much better coke. So again, the onus comes down to coke oven. So that is the guideline based on my 42 years of experience I can give you. And this on the planning side, this has to be supported to the younger generation who will drive this. We are already out of this scenario. We can only guide them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Haldar. Thank you for your nice. Taking clue from Mr. Haldar, another Haldar is there, who is also a consultant in this line. Sir, I just want to know from you, because most of the companies like SAIL and other things, they take application that we are having a top charge battery with wet quenching system. And it becomes difficult for them to convert either to dry quenching type or go from top charging to this thing, stamp charge battery. So this is my first question. What is your opinion, how they should move forward? Whether any opinion there? And second thing is regarding, like Mr. Haldar has told, use of high sulfur coke and other things. But in other countries, people are using even plastic waste also in coke oven, like in Japan, Europe. People are using PET coke also to reduce, because we are having 250 million ton of oil refinery producing large amount of PET coke, although it has been banned by Supreme Court for the time being. But what do you feel about these two aspects?
Okay, thank you. First of all, let me say a few words about me. Coincidentally, myself and another Haldar sitting in the dais both joined in the same year in SAIL as graduate trainee. Then I switched over to Tata Steel and I built my career basically in coke making in Tata Steel. Whatever preliminary learning was there in SAIL, after that, after joining Tata Steel, I learned so many things. And when I joined, there were both stamp charge as well as stop charge battery. But because of the benefits, Sushant has already explained, Tata Steel now converted into 100% stamp charge technology. There is no more top charge battery. As long as your conversions of top charge to stamp charge battery is concerned, we have also thought of sometimes, but there are a lot of issues which could not be resolved, I would say. One is in top charge battery, the primary problem is top charge battery is given a huge tapering. From pusher side to coke side, there is a huge tapering for ease out the pushing. But in stamp charge, that much tapering will create a lot of problem because it is a uniform cake size, and coke size there will be a huge gap between cold cake and the oven wall, and that huge gap will create a lot of carbon, graphite. The graphite finally it will beat onto the wall, and while pushing and charging, that build up graphite will put a lot of pressure on the wall and wall gets damaged. That is the biggest problem. Rest of the problems can be resolved, like heat distributions are not uniform in top charge because side less coal, coke side more coal, so you need to provide more heat resource on coke side. But in stamp charge it is not practically required because it is a uniform coal cake. So that can be resolved by redesigning the ODPs, nozzle ODPs. So that's not a big problem. A big challenge is that. So that's why conversion is difficult. And third point, which is most critical but which is normally ignored, the densifying of coal into higher BD, it creates a lot of swelling pressure. So swelling pressure is increased by 6-7 times compared to top charge. So if you convert top charge into stamp charge, and top charge batteries are designed for top charge technology, so there is a pressure limitations of 1 psi. But if you convert it into stamp charge, and that additional pressure coming onto the wall will not stand. Wall will get damaged. That is one of the biggest problems.
Maintain the same this.
One point after Haldar, let me clarify one point, because a lot of people will get a chance to migrate from the top charge to stamp charge battery. As he has told, during the initial period, a lot of cokeoven in India who started stamp charge batteries, they have faced this problem: tight pushing, stickers, wall bending, damage of the wall, only because they could not understand the phenomena of wall pressure, which is a rank dependent, So whenever you make a blend or switch over to stamp charge batteries, please see to it. One point I am only telling you: never go beyond the rank of the blended coal beyond 1.12. Beyond 1.12, if you go, your pushing force will increase and slowly wall will get bent, your pusher ram motor will get burned, and you will have to empty out 2-3 ovens. 3 ovens are still empty in Jharsuguda, JSW Jharsuguda, because of wall bending. Oh, so this is a caution. I mean, the time is not there. Otherwise, technical elaborations could have been for a better time to guide you people that how you should go about it. It is only the coal blend, which will save the money and which will ensure the safety to the ovens. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Haldar. And I think this is the compulsion SAIL is having, why they could not move from top charge to the stamp charge battery, or even from wet quenching to the dry quenching, because of the space limitations and other things. But I think right now they have started.
There are many other small issues are there, but I'm not saying those. There were many more small issues.
You can address.
It can be addressed. A lot of people are operating the stamp charge batteries and they are getting benefit out of it. SAIL should go for it.
Yeah.
Being an salesman, I feel so.
Question was whether top charge batteries can be converted to stamp charge. That is, I think, the difficult proposition.
As Haldar has told, stamp charge
But
battery,
it is difficult.
it can be, provided that, as he has told, the tappering is more in top charge batteries and all.
The ratio of width and height and all.
Okay, it can be converted, but you will have to reorient the coal tower and all other things remaining the same.
That paraphernalia required for stamp charging is altogether different.
You will have to change the pusher machine, you will have to install the stop jack, and you will have to reorient the coal tower. That's all.
I'm Dr. Manish Kumar from the Central Institute of Mining and Field Research, CSI Simfer. I'd like to add to Dr. Haldar and Mr. SAXENA that we had a meeting at the ministry regarding that inclusion of stamp charging and inclusion of pulverized coal injection in all the public sector blast furnaces. So we proposed, being an R&D organization, we proposed SAIL that we can try it out. Whether that your top charge battery can be converted to stamp charge battery. As Mr. Haldar was telling that we should not go beyond RO of 1.12, 1.12. But now the trend is the scarcity of coking coal, prime coking coal, has forced coke makers or forced integrated steel plants to go beyond 1.25. If I'm wrong, you just tell me. Sir, just a minute, sir. Just a minute. Yeah, what Mr. Haldar is telling, it's okay. If we are having a RO of 1 to 1.12, we may make good quality coal. But the problem is that due to scarcity of coal, we have to go to 1.25 and even 1.3. Like, am I right, sir? Am I right? So we have to come up with a technology, we have to come up with a blend that which can accommodate this, the overall blend composition, the overall RO of blend to 1.25. So that's what we are proposing. And next thing, I like to update the house that most of the technologies what we are using for byproduct type coke making and stamp charging technology, they are all imported. Most of them are only imported. Ultimately, initially Auto was doing that, and Mecon was having some technology. But right now, all are imported, and due to imported technology, lot of tendering process and all those things are there. SAIL has already tendered some stamp charge battery. But I'd like to update the house that we as Simfer has provided the batteries under construction for Kudurmukh Iron Ore Company Limited. 1.18 million ton per annum non-recovery type coke oven with stamp charging. The individual oven charging is 25 tons. And what we have proposed in that, the battery can accommodate about 20 to 25% of inferior coking coal and soft coking coal, including some amount of non-coking coal also. That's what I wanted to say. So we have to make a methodology that we can use. We can make a blend of RO having 1.25, even 1.25, because we have to bear with the quality and quantity of coal available internationally and internationally. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Manish. And with the question what you have just responded, just I wanted to ask your opinion also, because you are a technology developer. So you are using different type of. So what do you feel about use of some other materials like plastic, petcoke, and other things in this charge? Because Japan, Europe, everywhere you see, because steel industry can provide a good platform for utilizing of the plastic waste available in the country. Because if we go even whatever they have used around 1 to 1.5% of the coke charge in the plastic, we can be replaced. Similarly, in the other area also we can use. And pet coke is available in a big quantity. What is your opinion about it? Yeah.
So exactly what we have not tried with plastic, but we have tried with pet coke. So ultimate problem with the pet coke is the amount of sulfur which is present in the pet coke. It will ultimately report the sulfur content in coke and in coal blend. Ultimately, because sulfur, as you know, sulfur is very dangerous for steel production. So what we can do, if we can manage overall sulfur content of the coal blend within limit, we can use, because the government is very furious about this use of pet coke. Even pet coke is being used in many, like rotary kiln for refractory manufacturing, and somewhere it is also being used for steam production. But using pet coke directly for coke making is a very, as of now, it is very serious step what we can do. But we can always use pet coke if we can control the sulfur content in the blend. And for plastic, I cannot say at this moment, because we have not yet practiced even in lab scale also. So if we could, we can do that. I will surely come up with that.
And Dr.
On plastic, I can say a few things. While I was in Tata, we tried to adopt plastic into the coal charging. Since it is a stamp charge coke making, what we did, we shredded the plastics in small pieces and tried to mix it with the coal and stamping it. As long as stamping is concerned, it is no issue. As long as coke making is concerned, there was no impact on coke quality, etc. But it was creating a lot of hazards into the system, in the sense plastic is a light material. So while using plastic, you see all over the place plastics are flowing. So that created a dirty environment. So people were talking about that. Second problem which came up very nasty way, the plastic, since it is lightweight, in stamp charge we use a CGC card, means coal gas from the top we suck it during charging, because additional gas used to suck and combust it into a combustion chamber, and there is a fan and impeller to suck the gas. All the plastic used to be sucked because it is lightweight material, used to be sucked, and impeller was getting choked. And impeller started creating sound. It became imbalanced. Then we discovered that all the plastic material went into the machine and impeller got imbalanced. So that process is stopped immediately. In the other side, there is no CGC machine, there is a gas transfer machine. So it was not having that problem. But then another problem we saw, since we are using HPLA for initial suction, because of heavy suction, all the material was flowing into the gas collecting main. It did not create any problem immediately, but we apprehend problem, because plastic, where it will go? It will choke the entire system. So we stopped that. So these are the two problems. Because of that, it was discontinued. Otherwise, it will not have any problem in coke quality.
Yeah. I have used 5% pet coke and did some experiment with the plastic granules. It works. Granules work, and 5% pet coke, provided you have a desulfurization unit. New Zealand coal also 1.5% sulfur there. So it can be used. And as he has told, the rank, you'll have to make a blend. I have not talked about the straight coal. You'll have to make a blend, and there you'll have to give a heavy dose of soft coking coal whose MMR is 0.9 to 1, and high VM, high fluidity. That is the thing which reduces the overall blend rank and the VM. See, that a blend has to be achieved. The blended coal should have 1.2 maximum, 1.12. 1.15 if you go, you'll have to give bigger coking period and reduce your production. Otherwise, your organ will get damaged.
Thank you, Haldar Singh. Now I will take one question because maintenance of coke oven batteries, ovens and other things is a big issue. And Mr. Venkateshan is here. They have developed unique technologies about the maintenance, online maintenance of the ovens and other things. So I just request Mr. Venkateshan, how you are feeling the difference between a top charge battery and a stamp charge battery when you are doing maintenance, and why these type of failures are occurring, whether the failure also is having any impact on the top charge or stamp charge, or it is almost same in both the cases.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Fosbel, just a brief introduction of Fosbel. Fosbel has invented some good technologies for coke oven repairs in the year 1980, which are actually online repair methodologies. Fosbel operates in more than 55 countries, and we maintain thousands of coke ovens every day, helping coke plants to maximize coke production as well as prolong the life of the coke oven batteries. From this morning, we are hearing that stamp charging is going to be inevitable to adopt in the future, mainly because of use of lower cost coal is possible with stamp charge technology. Although there is a limitation of the amount of the inferior quality coal you can use. I would like to share from my experience, there are two factors you need to consider in stamp charge batteries. Number one is the height of the stamp charge batteries. Now, I have seen myself many stamp charge batteries, and when the height goes above 5.5 meters, the stamp charge battery operation is going to be very challenging. It needs a lot of innovation, a lot of controls, a lot of expertise in preventing what they call as a cake breakage. So, in my opinion, even India is currently now operating 6.25 meter tall coke oven batteries of stamp charge, like JSW Dolby. There are problems in operating tall stamp charge batteries. They require a lot of expertise and experience. Now, as Mr. Haldar said, stamp charge batteries, their wall pressure is going to be extremely high compared to top charge batteries, which means the maintenance of stamp charge batteries are going to be more challenging than top charge batteries. As such, we have seen the life of stamp charge batteries are lower than top charge batteries, but the benefits of stamp charging will overweigh all those things. However, there should be a very rigorous maintenance schedule to be put in place with the modern technologies, not the old technologies of gunning and patching and spraying is not going to help you in making sure that the stamp charge batteries are going to last longer, give you a good quality of coke consistently. So there are a lot of tools available today to diagnose the battery health problems. There are a lot of computer-aided systems have come. People like Polward, people like Nippon Steel and Fosbel have come up with some modern health diagnostic systems which are necessary to meet the current challenges of going for stamp charge using inferior quality coals. If you want to run the batteries longer. See, when my parents were there, they never tested the blood pressure in their life. But my doctor now asks me to log blood pressure every week along with my sugar values and report to him if I want to live longer. So obviously the diagnostics of the battery performance, health diagnostic becomes very important in a stamp charge operation. Yes, stamp charge operation is very beneficial, but it has this angle of very rigorous maintenance regime to put in, whether it is refractory, whether it is mechanical, or whether it is heating regulation. You have to have certain systems in place to get the benefit of switching over to stamp charge batteries.
Thank you. But do you think that the preventive maintenance practices what is being followed in various steel plants are good enough, or you need, like you mentioned just now, we need a computerized control and all the other things systems. So what you feel about this thing?
I would say that there is some delay in implementation of this sort of regimes, maintenance or health diagnostic systems in place. I think they have to start early. When you have a problem and then reach the the latest stage, nothing much can be done. So the only request I would have to make to the coke plants is to start this system, whether health diagnostics or maintenance, early in the life of the batteries. Currently, there is some lag. Maybe the timing is not still optimum. My suggestion is to start them pretty early so that to get the benefits of stamp charging as well as to maintain the batteries longer.
Have you seen anywhere it has been tried that use of robotics in full wall repair? Or thinking of precast kind of wall and put it in the inside the oven? I mean, this is just a vague idea, but perhaps you can throw some light on it.
There is definitely thinking on those lines. Now, from the normal refractory bricks which are used to line the walls, people have gone in for bigger shapes, the bigger blocks, and probably they will now reach a stage where they can assemble the walls outside and shift it to the battery. That could happen. That will have a lot of infrastructural requirements and understanding of various things in the cocoa and batteries. But yes, this switch over from small bricks to bigger shapes is already catching up in foreign countries, so it will soon come to India as well. The robotic usage is, I've seen in Japan, only for diagnosing the wall conditions and all, they use the robotic system, not for building up, though I have not seen so far. In fact, in Tata Steel Europe, the Imuddin plant in Netherlands, they have adopted this repair technology, through wall repair, full wall repair. They precast block basically consists of 3 flues. Normally bricks are 1 flue, but they made a precast for three flues, and with a crane they just put one by one. And it takes only 5 days to complete a full wall. And since it is made of zero expansion quality silica, and they take 7 days for heating. So in 10-15 days they are completing one full wall. Yeah, I can say that. I have in fact I have videos and all these things. And one more technology which Venkatesh has not talked about, we tried in Tata Steel. Instead of putting blocks, we casted the full wall. Not precast, in situ casting. With frame, we put the frame, then did the casting and completed the job. We commissioned the oven, and after 3-4 days it collapsed. And in Tata Steel, there is a forum called Innovista. Then means they encourage innovations. In Tata Group, it's a group concept. There we have put up this case. There is a item like dare to try. So many innovative ideas are there, categories are there. One category is dare to try. So I put up that case, dare to try, and you will not believe I got the first prize. and it failed within 3-4 days, and we lost almost 5-6 crore rupees in total. But still I got the first prize. That is Tata.
Sir, we have started to receive questions. So, Mukesh sir,
I will just take one question from
Yeah.
Aswani Jaiswal also.
and Arijit ji, take question.
Ajit also.
Arijit will take
Aswani ji, because you are going for a big expansion from 6 million ton to 25 million ton. And understand, because he has raised some doubt like 5.5 meter and above. But today trend is to go 6.2 meter and above, 6.2, 6.78 and other things. And whatever all the steel players, they are installing new batteries, they are going all 6.2 and above. And I think you are the only party who are going, I think 6.78 also. So what is your experience regarding the height of the stamp charge batteries? So any idea on this thing? Can you throw some light on this?
As right now we are operating 4.25 meter height in Angul, and we are going to 6.78 meter height battery for Raigad and Angul also. As per our discussion with technology suppliers, they are convinced and they are also give a suggestion. The 6.78 meter height battery will be the better for the productivity and the quality. But for the maintenance point of view, we need some modifications in design and uh, some quality of refractories. So we can go for 6.7 height batteries, and that will be the good productivity and quality of coke.
Thank you, Mr. Jaiswal. And now we have Mr. Arjit Goswami also from this thing, Central Laboratory Mitra SK. You have seen all the discussions and everything is falling back on blending of Golgi. That blending has to be done properly. So what is your opinion? How do you see how you are controlling these things there?
Thank you, sir. First of all, let me thank you all for allowing me to share the platform with you all stalwarts. So, honestly speaking, we are regularly analyzing coals from various sources, be it thermal coal or be it coking coal. And honestly speaking, Indian coking coal is not up to the mark. And obviously, the discussions that we have all gone through since morning, blend is inevitable. You have to go for blending, and as we know that we are mostly dependent on the imported coking coal. Almost 85% of coking coal we are importing, mainly from Australia. So to reduce cost, the answer is blending. So before we go for blending, actually blending is actually finalized on the basis of a pilot oven trial and commercial trials. Then it can be put into effect. But before we go for the pilot oven trial, pilot plant trial, there are various chemical and physical requirements are there which we need to fix. And if you consider about the chemical requirements, then you have to go for the ash component analysis. You also need to know about the C by H ratio and the alkali index also. And if you go about the physical requirements, then there is your petrographical requirements, which is a major point, because you know for a good quality coking coal, the vitrinite should be minimum 50%, and the V9 to V14, this distribution, it should be more than 80%. And lastly, to further reduce the cost of the blended material, nowadays people are mixing various low-cost carbonaceous materials as Sarah said, petcoke, and in some plants, in some research works, they are also using asphaltenes and coke waste products. But these are basically the inerts, and they may not actually affect the coke quality that much if they are properly optimized. But yes, we have to take care of the sulfur and phosphorus contents, because as we know, sulfur and phosphorus, they can always pass on to the hot metal from the coke, and obviously they can they can be detrimental for the hot metal. So this is what my take is, that blending is inevitable. But to finalize the blending, a laboratory, you should have the data, you should have the proper set of data from a laboratory regarding all the chemical and physical requirements. Thank you.
But how do you see the role of computerization in blending system? Because nowadays new softwares are coming for automatic blending and control and everything, so that dependency on manual intervention is minimized. So how do you see the role of these type of technologies in blending operations?
So technologies are always there. We are all dependent on technology, and nowadays new technologies are coming every day. But thing is that the fundamental is that you have to have a good idea about the chemical parameters as well as the physical parameters. And nowadays, with the advancement of computation, there are computational models actually which can actually give you the idea about how your blend is going to be performing, because a blend which is optimized in the laboratory, and it has to be further validated through the pilot plant trial. So technology, in my take, the computational models, they are obviously very important, and they should be then we should also take help from the computational models.
Thank you very much. I think with this, the time is already over, and I will take few questions, 3 or 4 questions, if anybody is having any question
So
with any of the panelists.
We have received one question from SLR Metallics, Mr. BV. Yeah. So can I read out your question? Okay. So his question is, we want the expert to, talk on horizontal oven. which is vertical oven. Vertical oven are latest technology, but ask सर आप ही बोल दीजिए मेरे को राइटिंग समझ में नहीं आ
Sir,
रहा
you can just speak. Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
And whom you want to address? I think it is a non-recovery. This thing you want to address?
Hello. Yeah. We heard enough about the enough discussion about the stamp charging and top charging technology and advantage disadvantage. Whereas now the vertical ovens process. I mean the technology is in India where only the Bokaro one place and then one at Sandur Manganese near hospital in Karnataka. These are the two coke ovens having the vertical coke ovens, and one more is coming in the Gujarat, that Jindal. Now there are certain advantages and disadvantages associated with this particular new technology, which is vertical technology. Now this asks for, what we understand is this particular vertical one asks for some special blend in the coal, which is more stricter or more narrow compared to the horizontal ovens. One side, as India, we want to make use of the Indian coal available to the best possible level, and the other side, the new technology is asking for more stringent blend selection. So I want the experts to discuss on this. Now, if they can come out which is better for us, in terms of blend and usage and ultimately the cost of production. Thank you.
Good. हो गया okay.
Thank you for your question, because these vertical non-recovery coke oven, these are all non-recovery, heat recovery coke oven. Earlier, if you see the coke making industry in India, the merchant coker is on all. Horizontal coke oven is a beehive coke oven, and it was modified later on to harness the heat of the product of combustion to generate HP steam. Now horizontal coke oven and vertical, later on, you see horizontal coke oven has got certain disadvantages. I explained. You have seen horizontal coke oven, it has got a bigger door, 3.5 meter wide and all. So during the operation, and this door does not get properly sealed, these ovens work under suction. So there are a lot of air ingression inside the oven, which causes direct burning of the coal bed, because this carbonization is done in oxidizing atmosphere. You put the air through the door or from the top, and there are unaccounted air going into the oven at the end of the cooking period, because such a big door, there is no positive sealing. So these ovens, they give rise to 3 to 4% burning loss, which is a loss to you. They get burned because of the air ingression, and the carbonization takes place in oxidizing atmosphere. So later on, one gentleman, Mr. Jian Hu in China, he merged this conventional chemical recovery coke oven, slot type coke oven, and made it to a non-recovery, heat recovery coke oven. How? He has retained the shape of the same vertical oven, about say 500 millimeter wide, 4.3 meter height, 18 meter long or 14 meter long. What he did, there is no positive heating system, but the oven door, which is about 500 millimeter wide, he could use the existing zero gassing door, so he could ensure proper sealing of the door, so no unaccounted air goes into the system. In this stamp charge, it is only stamp charge battery. Stamped coal cake is put into that, and there are vertical flues, just like the conventional battery, by the side of the oven. Gas goes out from the oven and goes to the vertical flues, and they put air from the top on the vertical flues. So all the burning takes place in the vertical flues, and the heat is transferred to the coal mass. So the coal mass remain in a reducing atmosphere. There is no oxidizing effect, there is no burning loss. So that is the advantage, if you are producing 2 lakh ton of coke and 3 to 4% of the burning loss, how much you lose every year. So that is the advantage you took, and he built up the capacity vertically. So for the same capacity coke oven, you require about 30% less land, and cost of refractories and machineries, it is also about 30 to 35% capex cost less than the horizontal recovery coke oven. That is the difference between these two. it is easier to operate, proper sealing can be done, and you do not lose any coke because there is no oxidizing atmosphere inside. Am I clear?
So,
Thank you. Thank you very much, because we are running out of time. So we will. Okay, sir.
Shall we
Just
take
we'll
it during
one
high
question.
tea?
Yeah, light.
sir, shall we take it
During high tea?
Because we have to start the plenary session.
Okay. Please give this mic, please. Yeah. Please take the mic.
For any reason, a battery is operating at a higher coking period. Can we take advantage of increasing soft coking coal in the blend?
See, issue is two. You are asking the question with respect to stamp charge battery.
No, sir. 7 meter tall, top charged.
7 meter tall top charge batteries, you know, your bulk density of the coal is how much? 0.75? So it
0.721.
does not have that much effect of pressure, wall pressure, but 7 meter tall battery, because of the height of falling of the charge, there will be some compaction effect of almost a stamp charge battery at the bottom of the coke oven. So there also the blend soft coal you can use. There is, I have used in 7.6 meter tall battery 20%, 25% soft coal.
I think his question is, if you increase the coking period, is it going to affect the life, or when you are compelled to increase the coking period, can you increase soft coal in coal blend?
No, I ask you the reverse question, you know. There is a design coking period. The coking period only changes because if your input changes. See, higher rank coal, they take more time to carbonize.
So can we
Lower
conclude
rank
this,
coke,
please?
they take less time to carbonize.
I think
so
we can take this
it is by
question
default.
during
You cannot
tea
increase
time.
the coking period like
Sorry,
that.
sir,
We can
we have
discuss
to
this
end the
point.
session. We
Yeah,
have to
during
end
tea
it.
time. And
Please-
I thank
please
you all
excuse
the
us.
panelists for
Yeah.
sharing their experience and guiding this thing. And I think all the industry will be benefited on their operation, maintenance and design point of view. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you, everybody. Let's put our hands together for the panelists and for the interaction. It was very, very interesting, and I would request now Ms. Monica Bachchan to felicitate our panelists with the memento, a token of our gratitude. Memento for Mr. K.G. Venkatesan, MD, Fosbel India Private Limited. Would like to present a memento to Mr. Ajit K. Saxena, Director Operations, RINL. Mr. Ashwini Jaiswal, Head Coke Oven Plant, JSPL. Mr. Sushant Haldar, Consultant, Coke Oven Plants. Mr. Arijit Goswami, Technical Manager, Central Laboratory, Mitra SK. Dr. Manish Kumar, Senior Principal Scientist and Head Coal Carbonization Research Group, CSIR. And Mr. Sujit Kumar Haldar, Consultant, RAWMET Resources Private Limited. Thank you, Ms. Monica Bachchan, and we thank all our panelists once again. Ladies and gentlemen, we would start our fourth and final session of this day immediately after this session. Post this session, there is a high tea and networking session. So we would encourage all of you to interact with each other during this session.